welcome to Conscious Conversations. Today, my guest is Nilo Del Monte.
Ta-da!
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So, I love to start out every episode with telling my guests why I love them. And so, with you, that is so easy. Well, I love you because, first of all, your presence. When you walk in a room, it's like, boom, Nilo's here. And your energy and just the vibrancy of who you are is unlike anyone I've ever met. And then your music, of course, we're going to talk about your music, but your music, both in English and Spanish, is just heaven. Like the words, the lyrics, the energy behind it. When I hear your music, I experience love and joy like no other. And just your artistry, like you as an artist, of course, you're a musical artist, but I see your artistry in everything that you do, in your outfits, in the way you move, in the way you dance, in the way you speak, in the way that you are. And it is a whole experience. And it's an honor to know you and be your friend. And it's an honor to have you here to talk about this topic that I've been really waiting for the perfect moment to talk about, which is music as medicine and how healing sound can be. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to talk to you and to get together to just have this beautiful conversation. And everything that has the word conscious on it, I'm like, yay, on it.
Yeah, you really embody consciousness in general. And I think we can start with taking it back to when you realized you were an artist of music and how that all unfolded for you.
Well, I was born in a very artistic family in Cuba. So my grandfather used to play the piano, classical piano, without going to school. So without reading the music sheets. So he would just perform every day in a big piano in the house. And I was exposed to that since a very young age, which made me understand that this is something that I really like. On top of that, my father used to play the guitar and other string instruments, and his sister was another artist. So the whole environment in the house was very conducive to art and music. On top of that, they would do like these parties, kind of, in which all of the artists come together and they sing different songs. So I was very exposed to that since a very young age, which made me understand that this is a path that I would love to take. I think that me singing since a very young age and dancing and playing piano made my parents realize that I had some talent, and thanks God and the universe, they put me in music school since I was very young. I think I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
So since that age, I started in music school where I grew up. I graduated from the elemental, the medium level of school. And after graduation, I studied classic guitar, but also piano, but also music in general. And after my graduation, I worked in different bands and projects in my city, in Santiago de Cuba. Traditional music, all kind of music, like old school pop. They call it Década Prodigiosa there. It's like music from old times in Spanish. I would play the bass there. So I went through an arsenal of different rhythms and sounds and way of performing until I was selected to be a part of an international tour in Italy for a Caribbean show. Cool. And I remember me doing that. I was like, I think 19 years old, kind of. Yeah, maybe less. And having the opportunity to get out of Cuba for the first time.
I was going to ask, was that the first time you left Cuba?
Yes, that was the first time.
Wow.
And it opened up my eyes. It opened up everything. I understood that I was living in a very limiting space and environment. And then there was a world out there that I was not seeing. So it kind of was very powerful for me to be able to do this very young age,
Yeah.
compared to my friends that had my same age
Yeah.
at that time. None of them had the opportunity to leave the country and work outside. So it was like a gift.
Wow.
And I took it like that. So I did that for like 4 years, kind of.
In Italy?
Yeah, I was coming and coming back.
Mm.
And then one day, by that time, I already felt a musician,
Yeah.
an artist. Everyone knew me as an artist. I never had to do any other stuff as a work, as a job, right? So, but personally, I was feeling like impression, kind of, because I think I reached a wall. I felt like I reached a wall and I couldn't, there was nothing else. And
Like you had already succeeded at what you were doing.
and beyond success, it was more personal. It was like the life I was living, everything was not giving me a new possibility. It was just, I was facing a wall. So I was like, I need to leave this country now that I had a taste that there's something else.
Yeah.
And I put all of my efforts in doing that, and I did. So I came into the United States, I think when I was 23 years old,
To Miami.
to Miami.
By
First,
yourself.
yes. First, I went to Canada, to Toronto, and then I came here. And it's been such a journey. I think it literally feels like another life. So it feels like I died and I'm reborn, and this is just another lifetime, but I remember the previous one.
Yeah.
That's how it feels like.
I understand.
And yeah, music's always been part of me. I am music and I am art. So that's how I was born.
Wow. Wow. So you really always were a musical artist.
Yes.
And then what was the journey like to go from singing more of that pop or older music to conscious music? And also, what does conscious music mean to you? To explain maybe to anyone who doesn't really know what that means.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your music to me is really spiritual. It's so healing for the world. And I feel it's because you really sing about pure love and real truth and unity. But what does it mean to you to really shift into that? And what was that journey like?
So it comes from the opposite. I always say that I went into my darkest moment here once that I got into Miami. I reached really low in ways that I didn't know.
Why?
It was several things. I think the world here kind of like drew me in, and I start eating bad. I started being out there. I was so disconnected of myself, completely disconnected. I would say I would feel like it. It would feel like it. Not any. I don't remember feeling any kind of connection to life itself. I was feeling lost without actually being crazy lost on the streets. I was working, I was good, but inside there was a part of me that felt disconnected.
Were you questioning the path at that point of music, or?
I was questioning everything.
Yeah.
I was questioning myself. I grew up questioning myself a lot. Like I had a very rough, hard life. I don't come from happiness or joy, of the joy of being human. This is what I do now, but I come from the opposite of being lost, feeling wrong. So when I reached this low point in my life, I think there was nothing else that was lower, right? And in that moment, I found myself. I think I deleted all of the noise of the world for some reason, canceled it. And suddenly there was me there crying in a room feeling bad, feeling lost. And in that moment, I heard a voice that came from within with a song, with lyrics, not even music. It was just lyrics. And it started with, if you can make silence, you can hear me more. That's how it started.
In silence, we can hear. Yeah.
And then I started, because it was a soft voice. It's not a voice that screams, or it's not a voice that yells. It's a voice that is very soft. And of course, how would I hear that voice before, when all there was noise, chaos, mental chaos, and outside too? So that's when everything started changing. And from there, I started listening more to that voice and trying to create the environment in which that voice could be heard, right?
Yeah.
So the more I got in touch with that voice, which is myself, came from the essence of who I am, the more I started aligning with that essence. And the more that I started aligning with that essence, the more I understood that I had a purpose. Like, my existence here was not just a mistake, as I used to think. There was something that I am here to be and to do. And I restructure everything from that point. I restructure my life. I started to pay attention to my health, to my emotions, to my mind. And lastly, because it was like a process, to the lyrics of the musics that I'm doing, to the way that I'm putting those lyrics together, and also to the way that I am letting that music and those lyrics and those songs to come out from me, right?
Wow.
So for me, and the way that I see it, and the way that I understand it, conscious artist is someone who consciously choose how to impact anything with music or with art, right? So instead of being just a consequence of an inspiration, it's a conscious process of taking an inspiration and translating it in consciously into the most effective way to take this message further. So if I make a song that is about remind you or your beauty of your beauty, then as a conscious artist, I take the responsibility of that message and I make the best possible way, in the best possible way, how can I take this message and deliver it to you in a way that you understand it, but also in the way that works, and that you feel it. Because I think all of the skills that we gather through our life is for us to use it. So if I went to music school and I learned how to write music, how to read music, how to make music, then it's for me to use it in the best possible way to convey a message. So the way that I see it now, it's sound and message together, right? I use the sounds to convey or maybe bring the message, like carrying two hands like this, the message or a specific message to where it needs to go. And the sound for me is the carrier of that message. And then I use it as so. So for me, that's a conscious artist, someone who consciously brings art into or creates art into this world and deliver it in the best possible conscious way.
That's beautiful. That's such a good way to explain it. What do you feel like you were singing about, or what were you singing about prior to that awareness of?
It was the result of what it means to be human in a world that doesn't remember. So it was all about love, but not the real love, the attached. The attachment that we feel is love. So you left me and I'm here crying and my heart is broken and why do you do that?
Yeah.
So all of these mostly came from adolescence.
Yeah.
To me, in my case. So all of these breakups.
Yeah.
I feel lost and without you, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
So I come from all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Then you understand. It's like, okay, what I'm putting out there It's a reflection of what I've experienced, and what I've experienced is a consequence of conditioning, of many other things that are not explicit related to me, like in the essence. So it was based on experiences of the environment that I was living at, the environment I was born in, which was very, very hard. Um, and yet, as I said, I come from a very hard life. So I grew up feeling wrong.
Yeah.
I grew up feeling like I was not supposed to be here. And that marked something within me that has been with me all of this time. Now I am able to see it, to work it, to understand it, to transform it. But before, it was dictating my life. And that's why these songs were all about that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's such a good way to explain it. On that note, so much of music is about heartbreak or pain or like toxicity, right? Yeah, like why do you think that is the music that's most popular?
It's all about conditioning, and it's all about where the world is, and it's all about who and what conditions the world, right? Pain sells, and separation sells.
Yeah.
When you teach the world that pain is normal, when you teach the world that toxic love is real love,
Yeah.
then you think the world think is the normal.
Yeah.
And then you provide that in music in ways that the world understand is the normal thing. So it becomes popular.
Especially in movies and shows, like that's what they're portraying, right?
Absolutely. But mostly in music and sounds, yes, whatever you see, you cannot unsee. And whatever you hear, you cannot unhear. So it's very important to understand the connotation of sound and visuals when it comes to your experience in life. Whatever you see, you are remembering it getting inside of you in ways that you cannot stop it or undo it. And whatever you hear too. So even if you don't want to, it's getting, I always think about this comparison. If you have an injection, like you're going to get an injection, right? And we put this chemical inside of the thing that you used to, how do you say it?
Like a vaccine or like a shot?
Yeah, if you get like a syringe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Syringe? So if you get like a syringe and you put something inside and you're going to put that inside your body, you can say, no, I don't want this. And you stop it from happening. And you can stay here saying, no, I'm not letting that go inside, right? You can do that with the physical thing like a syringe. But with music, you cannot. You can try to do this. It can maybe work. You can leave the space. That's the most you can decide. But once you're there, if you're in a concert, the music is out there, it's getting inside of you.
Yeah, and it's a vibration, right?
Also,
yes, and energy,
and the message. Even if you say, no, I'm conscious. I know that if something is telling me that I'm wrong, I know that I am not wrong, and I'm not gonna listen to that. And I know that it's a lie, and that's the excuse that we put when we listen to music like this. But there is a part of you that knows, remembers, and listens, and gets all of that.
Yeah, like subconsciously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed that when I started shifting into this space of like becoming more peaceful and centered and conscious, the music that I listened to changed a lot. And and so even when I recently went to a new gym and the music was like really, it was like really intense rap and like cursing, and I think it's been a while since I was in an environment like that because I haven't been like clubbing and all the things. And I was like, I just didn't enjoy it at all. And I left and I was like, what was it? And it wasn't the workout, it was the music. I was listening to the words and it was like, you know, like rough and like rough about women and young girls. And I was like, oh my God, this is making me feel unsettled in my body. But this was all the music I would always listen to.
Absolutely. And it
Yeah.
shapes your reality as well, even if you
Yeah.
think it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because you are more than just you're more than just who you think you are.
Yeah.
So there is a part of you that is always listening and that believes as well.
Yeah.
So we have to be very conscious about what kind of music and vibrations, but also messages like words
Yeah.
we let in. I think it's as important, if not more,
Yeah.
sometimes that the food that we put, because
Yeah.
the food leaves the body. It has a process, physical process, but this is not physical.
Yeah. The word.
Music is not physical. Music is spiritual
Yeah.
in its essence.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. It's vibrations. It's energy.
Yeah. Yeah. That I love talking about that. And I think there was someone recently told me that they sat with ayahuasca, and which we'll talk about for sure. And when they did, they asked, what's the most healing thing in the world? And this woman thought ayahuasca was going to say, me, ayahuasca is the most healing. And ayahuasca said in a whisper to her, sound. Sound is the most healing of all things.
We are sound.
Yeah.
And we are energy. So the way that I know it is me as an artist. I'm like a magician. We all artists are magicians. So because we have the power to get into you, into everything with sounds or art. But in my case, it's sounds, right? So I can pierce layers and layers of conditioning, of personality, of physicality with sound, more effective that a needle can pierce the skin. I can go deeper because I can go to where the needle cannot go, which is physical. I can go to the essence. So if I consciously can do that, it means that I can alter, touch, awaken things that nothing physical can. And because everything starts in energy and then becomes physical, it means that the root cause of the physical is energy. So sound can alter, heal, modify, touch that which is the essence. And that's why it's very important to understand that it is medicine.
Yeah.
The sound is the way that I love to see it, and I've never said that publicly, is like music and sound is the art of remembrance. It makes you remember who you are and what you are, which is not physical. And it's a constant reminder, if you allow it, that sets you into your essence, that sets you into yourself, that reminds you who you are and where you come from. And that's why it's so powerful. And that can happen without the other person, the receiver, being conscious of it. If that person is in front of a sound that is consciously produced or expressed through any instrument, then this person for sure is going to get the benefit of that, even if she or he doesn't know it.
That is like exactly what I think about when I think of a conscious artist, like the way you articulated that. It's like being so conscious and aware that that is the process that's happening with the other person and the people listening. And I feel like there is no other way, better way to explain it than that.
And coming back to the medicine, what I feel I learned the most while I was working with the medicine is because
of ayahuasca.
Yes, it's because it shows you can see, and not only see, but consciously be the carrier of that energy and producing these sounds and seeing how they can alter and touch that which is not physical in everyone, right? With your eyes and with everything of you, to be able to understand it, not just only know it, but experientially understand it, is one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever received from the medicine. Because every time, first of all, singing on the medicine is a whole new journey. It's like, it's something that is, I've never, there's nothing compared to that. Like, after singing in a ceremony like that, I don't know. I think it's the deepest, more intimate concert I've ever done, because you are actually one with everything, and such an intimacy, you know, it's like, there's nothing compared to that.
Yes.
I remember the first time I did it, I was so scared. I was like, I remember I was in Mexico and I was helping in a ceremony, and suddenly, after everyone was coming back, everyone was already like gone through the processes. I remember my friend told me, okay, drink a little bit more medicine for you because you've been helping a lot, and you just took a little bit. Okay, sure. So I drink a little bit more of medicine, and then I go outside and I sit under the tree and I go full on into the journey, like I drank the whole cup. And in that moment, my friend comes and says, hermano, Cito querido, hermano, vamos para que cantes. Like, let's go. You have to sing. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what is singing right now. I don't even know anything. Exactly. Now's the moment. And I remember I said, okay, but you need to take me there. I cannot walk. So I remember being with my guitar there and just allowing life to do everything, and me just being the instrument. And I remember doing it in a way that I didn't know I could do. And I also remember seeing everyone getting up like this, feeling the connection, feeling it. And that was the first time that I was like, oh, wow, I love what I do so much. I can see more whole, in a more whole way, holistic way, what I do and why, and the effects of that.
Because of how the people were reacting.
Yes, and also because I could see how the energy moves and travel, and how the sound carries everything, the medicine, and how important it is. I could understand it before I knew it, because there is a part of me that knew, but without experience, for us, for humans, the knowing is incomplete in some way. When you experience something, when you understand something, then you can consciously do it full on. Before that, it's kind of like halfway, because there is a part of you that is not necessarily 100% sure or aware or understand it, you know?
Do you think sitting with ayahuasca has even like deeper brought you into your artistry and your music? And like,
absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me there is nothing that I am not, first of all. And there is nothing that I was not before doing any medicine. The medicine, you are everything always. It's just that you don't remember.
Yeah.
And the medicine beautifully, and sometimes hard, in a hard way, but beautifully always reminds you of who you are, reminds you of how you forgot.
Yeah.
And that's why I call it the music and sounds and everything, life, the medicine of remembrance. Because I believe with all of my heart that we're here to remember, not just so much to become something that you are not already. It's just remember so you can be it. Remember it so you can be it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, so good. It's so good the way you explain it. I mean, yeah, I have experienced your music both within ceremony and outside. And it definitely, like what I said when I introduced you, like there is an energy and a vibration that I feel when I hear the words, whether it's in Spanish or English. Like because when I say that, because obviously I understand Spanish to a degree. So even when I don't understand the words, like it's just the way I feel. And that's what really got me thinking about how music isn't just understanding the words, it's like the energy behind the sound as well. And so, yeah, I've experienced that firsthand watching because I'm very vigilant in the ceremonies, always watching the environment with the nature of what I do too. And so I'm always hyper vigilant and like really, paying attention. And I remember seeing when you like took the floor to sing, just everybody around like this joy or this like love or this feeling of like remembering. And it's such a gift to, experience that in this day and age right now. I worked in television for years and was around a lot of musicians and artists. And, there's like no good or bad. There's a place for everything. But shifting into this, being around this type of artistry and this music it's very different.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love what I do. And I know it's, we live in a world that it's healing and it's wounded.
Yeah.
So I know that we have a beautiful responsibility of applying love to the wounds, you know? And maybe stopping the source of it in a way.
Yeah.
Creating awareness.
Yeah.
Of where it comes from.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm not driven by fame or entertainment anymore. There was a point in which I understood that I'm not for the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sing to surface. I want to get inside.
In the soul.
I don't want anyone to be entertained. I want everyone to feel. And fame is not driving me.
Mm-hmm.
If fame would be driving me, I would be in a totally different space. I mean, we all have ego and we all are spirit. We're always going to have ego as long as we are in this experience as human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ego thinks in terms of fame, numbers, money,
mm-hmm.
protection, control. And that's always going to be there. That's valid. Fame, money, number is valid as a human. We all live in a world where that is something. It's something and it's valid. It's not, I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah.
But as much as you develop this, as much as you understand this, then we do the same with who we are, the spirit. And the spirit only wants and cares about truth. So it's not so much about dropping the worldly things. It's more about embracing the spirit things, because the world is temporal. It's just here for this experience.
Mm-hmm.
But the spirit is forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's you. So, and I didn't come here to be only spirit.
Yeah.
If I would come here to be only spirit, I would stay in spirit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't incarnate, you know? So we came here to be human and to allow ourselves to understand what means to be human and be it. And part of money, fame, this and that is important for the human part.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to do what is important for the spirit part, which is you. And I believe in the power of balance. And I believe that if we're able to live a life as a human in which we honor the essence of who we are, and at the same time allow ourselves to be human, that's it. I believe that. So with all of my heart, that's what I'm doing the best every day. I'm human, very, very human. Like the people who gets to be with me and be part of my friendship, like you, they know, you know, how human can I be. And I don't believe, like, for me, the journey is getting out of my humanity and getting just into the spiritual part of me. But it's mostly about allowing myself to be as human as I can while remembering the spirit that I am, in everything that I do. So on top of that, music, dance, everything else is just a way for me to share the messages that I share and to remind everyone of that same thing in themselves.
That's amazing. That is really amazing.
I hope that I explained.
And you're explaining it so well, because I was going to ask you, but you answered it. I was going to say, like, what do you hope people feel with your music and your artistry? But you've shared that so much. A remembrance.
It's all about that.
Yeah.
It's all about remembrance, the love, unity, the responsibility. Like, I believe to be conscious means to be responsible.
Yeah.
Because responsibility is what makes you actually do what needs to be done, right? So when you understand that you are responsible for the life that you're living, that you brought yourself where you are right now, even if you don't like it, and in the same way you can take yourself out of it and take you where you want to go, when you understand that, you get all of your power back. So I want to remind everyone of their power, and I want to remind everyone about their essence.
Yeah.
And how important it is to be authentic in a world where copy paste is the normal, kind of, in a world that everyone reminds you or teaches you every day, educate you every day of how important it is for you to follow another and be like the other.
So true.
Instead of understanding yourself, getting to know yourself, and then be it in the best possible way.
So true. And one thing I feel lately now more than ever is that, like, we're all artists in a certain way. So for a long time, I would talk about artists or like musicians, like they're musicians, they're artists. But lately I've been thinking about how we're all artists in our own way. We all have creativity. For me, this is my art, right? To talk, to bring messages to the world by way of conversation. Yeah, to guide.
The art of guiding.
The art of guiding.
The art of guiding you to yourself.
To your truth, yeah. And yeah, I feel like that's something I hope people all know is, like, we all have that we can unlock, but artistry looks different for everyone. Bridget and I were talking yesterday. She's gotten into poetry, friend of ours. And yeah, I think that's something that has been on my mind lately of, well, we're all artists, and how can we unlock that artistry and channel that, which leads me to another question. What is your process for music? Are you more flowy with, like, when you get the download, you kind of act on the spot and create, or do you have a process that enables you to produce in a different way?
It changes. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, I receive the inspiration as a package. It feels like it's not like the lyrics first, or it's like a package. It's everything together, and then I have to. Do you know this software on the computer that is called or WinRAR or Extract? Like it compress information.
Oh, like a zip file.
And then you double click, and then it goes.
Yeah.
So I feel it's like that for me. It comes like this, the whole thing, and then I have to decompress all of that and making it happen in this reality,
Yeah, because you write, produce.
Yes.
Like you're the whole shebang.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a big responsibility as well. But that's how it most of the time is. It comes when it comes, and I have to be there, and I have to be ready, and I have to have around me everything that I need to bring it here in the best possible way. Sometimes that looks like I'm in the studio and I have everything that I need. Sometimes that doesn't look like that, and I'm in the middle of the street, and I park my car and I take my phone and I start recording. And some other times I'm in a place in which I have a mic maybe and the computer, but I don't have instruments, and I do everything with my voice, which made me understand a new way of producing music for me, which is using more vocal elements instead of instruments. So that's something that I discovered by doing this kind of experiments in which I was feeling the inspiration but didn't have any instrument at all around me. And I start to do everything with my voice. Like I start to do like tum, 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 and I record that. And then I do tum, 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 and I record that. And then I was like, and then I record that. And then suddenly I put the voice on it. And then oh, I like that. And then it became like a style for me and something that I'm very, very proud of when it comes to the way I produce my music, because it's efficient, first of all, and then it's fun. It's very fun. And so most of the time it looks like that. The other 5% looks like I create a receptive environment outside and inside for inspiration to come. You know, and I do that by various ways, like from the physical space where I am, organizing, creating space, having instruments around ready, me becoming kind of like empty
Like
thoughts.
meditation.
Yeah, like not thinking too much and just being here and maybe sit with the chord. That's the other 5%. But most of the time it comes like, boom, this is it. A whole album. The album that I'm already finished producing
You have a new one coming?
I have 2 albums.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
One of them was like, boom, this is an album and it's going to be called like this. And this is all the 11 songs. And I'm like, okay. And then,
With the one with Como Soy and
exactly. It was through a very specific moment in which I wrote the album. And then the other album that I'm working now is very intimate, very soft. It's me and guitars, voice and guitars. It's just very subtle. And it's very interesting to see those two together, like such a balanced piece of work, because you have one that is more intense, more than more contemporary, I would say, more raw, more like me showing this part of me that for so many years I didn't show, and in a way that inspires you to do the same. It's not just me showing because of showing.
Yeah.
It's just as a way of you to get inspired, maybe, or to feel it, enjoying. And then the other part that is just me me getting inside your heart and doing this to your heart, like, or kissing it, or maybe like, mwah, you know? So it's very, very, very interesting to see these two together.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
I can't wait for you to hear it.
Oh, I can't wait. So, I mean, music is obviously such a big part of your life, but you're also an incredible dancer, right? And your clothing and the way you style yourself, all of that. What are your like current offerings? You have a music school, and what else do you offer? I know you do a lot of different things.
Well, first of all, dancing, it's such a blessing in my life.
Yeah, you're an incredible dancer. I've never seen anyone dance the way you do.
I remember that, and I'm gonna make this story because this story is about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think authenticity is very important that we all understand and we all assume.
Yeah.
Since I was very young, I loved to dance. I remember I was in Cuba and my parents would play a vinyl of an Afro-Cuban band that mixed their sounds with rock, and they created something very unique. And remember, the name of the band is Synthesis. So I remember being like maybe 4 or 5 years and listening to this music and dancing like an African. Like I was being possessed. There was a big black man dancing inside that little boy. And everyone in my family was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I think I understood at a very young age that I was not supposed to do that or to be that or to let that happen. That's not how we dance. So that little kid understood that through different ways. But to make this story shorter, fast forward, I never danced like that anymore.
Wow.
I remember when I was in art school, since very young age, in the same school there were dancers as well. There was ballet and there was dance, like more folkloric or contemporary dance, and there was music in the same school. And I remember going to the windows and seeing the dance classes, not the ballet, the Afro-Cuban, and feeling and staying there for hours because they were live drumming. And I was feeling jamming with them from the outside of the window. But that's it. That's the closest that I got to dance again. Until 3 years ago, I decided to go to Mexico City to finish producing my album. I needed to change environment, and so I booked a studio in the mountain, and I stayed some time in Mexico City. And also I went in a ceremony there. And when after the ceremony, one of the girls says, "Hi Nilo, let's talk. Okay. I'm like, okay, what do you want to talk?" Say, "No, say, ask me a question." I'm like, okay, what are you passionate about? She was like, I love doing this and doing that. "And what about you?" She said, "Well, music, I love traveling, I love dancing." "Oh, you love dancing. Okay. But what kind of dance do you like to dance?" And I'm like, anything that comes from Black culture, I love. Even hip hop, I love so much. "Oh, okay, interesting. Because here in Mexico City, there is a West African class." "Oh, West African class." Inside of my head was like, I don't know what is it, But I'm all about African culture and dancing, so I will try it. So the next day, I returned to the city and I booked a class into this school in the heart of Mexico City. And I go, and it was the hardest thing ever. 2 hours of dancing. And I remember me thinking like, I love this so much. And I honor that thought and that feeling, So
You
I
were
decided,
like remembered how much you love that dance.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was not happening consciously. I didn't remember at that time that it was from my when I was young. No. I was just in the moment loving it. So I decided to stay in Mexico City for 2 years instead of 1 month. And
2 years.
2 years. And dance every day.
Been wanting to go there.
Every day I danced for 2 years. Maybe some weeks I danced only 6 days.
Wow.
But I took classes, sometimes double classes, and I was formed as a West African dancer. And I discovered something that was and is such a beautiful medicine in my life, that I know with all of my heart that I will never stop dancing that kind of music. And now wherever I go, wherever I travel, I find these classes and I jump in, and it reminds me of who I am, and it reminds me of what I love to do. And that only could happen if you follow your authenticity. Because this is something that was there since a very young age, but I didn't tap into it anymore. It got buried.
Yeah.
Because of the conditioning of the world.
Yeah. Like it was wrong. Yeah.
But then I had the opportunity to come back to it, and now I cannot live without it. So
yeah.
that's important. We have to follow what we are passionate about, because what we are passionate about is a connection to ourselves.
So true. Yeah. I remember feeling very resistant to step into all of this and feeling like, where is this going to go? But I was like, it just lit me up. So I just kept doing it. I think that's such a good point about following your highest excitement and your authenticity. Yeah.
And this is just starting. Like,
Oh,
imagine,
thank you.
oh my God, I can see. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So tell us about, what your offerings are and how you work with others, because you're also a coach yourself and a guide. So you're very multifaceted.
Yeah. Okay. So currently I'm working with other artists.
Yeah.
I created a school for independent artists called Poder Independiente, in which I teach them everything that I know when it comes to music, music business, everything that is related to the artistic part of it as well.
And like conscious artist. Yeah.
Of course. And how to be a conscious artist and how to delve into this world of being a conscious artist in this world.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. This is something that I plan to keep doing. So I'm currently under one of the courses. It should end at the end of the month, but then start the next one. I love doing that so much. I really, really love it.
Is it virtual or in person?
It's virtual.
Okay, so anyone can join all over the
Anyone
world.
can join. It's
Wow.
called Poder Independiente, and they can find it poderindependiente.com.
Okay.
On top of that, I have a school that is called Mente Bella. Mente Bella is a school in which I teach everything that I know about improvement, self knowledge, meditation, authenticity, the power of being you, the power of you. Everything spiritual that I've learned, I share there too. Everything that is crafted to make you remember, and how to create a practice in your life that makes you remember, helps you remember. And all of these things I teach in this school that is called Mente Bella, which is also online. On top of that, I have my music, and I am full-time working on that all of the time. Doesn't matter where I am, I'm creating and I'm recording and I'm producing. On top of that, I have two nonprofit organizations that I created to contribute more. One is called Mente Bella, which the purpose of this organization is to teach arts to children, different ways of arts, not only music, the one that resonates with them the most. And as a way, it's not just teaching arts just to teach arts. It's teaching arts with the intention of then using the art to explore and express their inner world as a tool for self-exploration and self-expression. So I believe that if we teach children since very young age that art as a way of getting to know yourself better and expressing that yourself out there in the world in an authentic way, from a very young age, the results are going to be epic. So that's the purpose of that organization. And the other one is Presencia, which is teaching presence, teaching meditation, creating awareness of the power of being here now with yourself and with everything peacefully. The power of meditation, the power of presence, and spreading that those teachings and that message out there. And on top of that, I do a lot of things too, like everything. Like I do podcasts. I have my podcast. I have many different projects that I'm working on. I'm writing a book.
Oh my God.
So it's like a whole bunch of things that once you know yourself and once you're connected with that, it's just makes more sense.
Yeah.
But when you're not, it feels like before I used to connect with the idea of writing a book, for example, or doing a podcast, but I was disconnected. So I was like, oh no, the fear was overtaking everything. I was not moving forward. And the more you walk towards yourself, I believe, the more you allow these things to happen because you trust them, because you know they come from you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited for this.
Oh,
and that's why I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And that's why I see you too. Do you think you only see me? I see you and what you're doing, the guidance that you offer and everything. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Well, this was amazing. I really feel like it was perfect. And I'm so glad we did this, and I can't wait for people to listen to this. And for anyone listening, if they want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me. You can find me
in Miami.
In Miami and in the rest of the world too. Social media, you can find me as Nilo Del Monte. NILODELMONTE. Instagram, my website is nilodelmonte.com. YouTube, Spotify, you can stream my music, which is your music, on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, all of it. And you can also connect with me and write me via the social media channels. I'm always very happy to read you and to reply to you and to connect with you on a daily basis. It's part of my job. I don't only do things to leave them there, you know?
I love that. And as always, for anything, any guidance on which modality, which tool, and wellness and consciousness, what's next for you on your journey, you can find me at Your Conscious Concierge on Instagram, www.yourconsciousconcierge.com, Conscious Concierge on TikTok. Same, write me, DM me.
Yeah.
Always here for you.
I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Just to end this my way.
Of course.
What is something that you could say since a very young age you dreamt of? This maybe a dream or a vision or a feeling that is old, that is not from recent times. It's just something that is from back then. Maybe you didn't understand it at the time, but you still had it. And you remember now. What is something that I would like to know?
So I always felt like I was going to be famous when I was young. And I was like being casted for reality shows or finding my way into ways of speaking or, you know, being seen. And I would always say to my mom, I just know I'm going to be famous. And she'd be like, please stop saying that. It's super embarrassing. And I went to a birth chart reader when I was 27. I'm 34. And she said to me, like, you're going to be a public figure, but not in the way that you think. And at the time I was like, interesting. And she said to me, you're going to have a lot of healing to do before you can be that figure. And old me was like, oh my God, I'm going to be famous. But now what I see, what has been unfolding is exactly what she said, which was going through that healing journey, because that public figure that I feel that I knew I was going to be now is to share the messages of the people. Since I was really, really young, my gift was always communication and making friends and having friends and sharing the messages. And so now what I see this all becoming is really being able to, in a public way, share those gifts of friendship and community building and bringing messages forward. But she was right, because I needed to heal and, you know, go through the ego of what that I thought that was going to be. And now it's really to share the messages of conscious people to the world, to help the world heal those wounds we were talking about and find unity in and remember what we're doing here.
I love it. And I believe with all of my heart that you are on that path.
Thank you.
And I'm very happy that you're doing this work, that you are going through this process of purifying your experience, right?
Yeah.
Because fame is amazing. Fame is attention.
Yeah.
Fame is everyone is looking at you, they know of you. But fame without consciousness,
Exactly.
but fame without a message that is conscious, then what is it?
Empty.
What kind of example are you being?
Yeah.
So when we do this work and we become the message, in practicality, like I become the message when I become who I say I am.
Yeah.
And then what I'm showing as an example is that then fame is just an amazing tool to inspire many millions of people to do the same, you know?
And I think I always said, I think I'm going to be famous, because I always saw myself on a stage. So I'd have visions of a stage, but I was like, well, I'm not a musician and I'm not, you know, an actress, but I was trying all those avenues. I was like, maybe I'm meant to be on TV, or maybe I'm meant to be this. And it was because I would see visions of a stage. So I think in my way, I was just trying to articulate what that meant, but I just always had an inner knowing, like there's a message here. It just needed to get shape shifted. And now it feels ready to really be heard.
Can't wait to see you on a stage.
Thank you.
Can't wait.
I know now I'm like, what was I thinking? But yeah, I just am following whatever. I'm literally just like surrendered, and I'm just following wherever this is taking me, regardless of knowing the how. I'm just following what's coming out in my own artistry.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for asking that. No one's ever done that.
Like I was waiting literally for an opportunity, an invitation to speak about everything that we spoke about. But I'm very selective, and I'm also very picky when it comes to where do I share myself, because I want to share myself where I am well received. and where people sees me, and it's not that because they see me as an artist, I'm supposed to go where this everyone goes. So the fact that you see me and the fact that you so lovingly invited me to come and have this conversation with you means a lot, and I really want to honor that and say thank you for allowing me to bring this Caribbean flow
I love it.
to this space that you have created with so much love, and I'm very happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mwah. Mwah. Mamacita.
Te amo, papacito. Okay, and thank you to our lovely crew over here.